Allora siamo qui alla Fiera di Bologna con Andy Timmons. Hi Andy.
Ciao, come stai?
So you speak Italian?
Very little. I forget easily. Yeah.
You're such a badass on guitar.
Yes. Grazie.
In every style, that's incredible. So you play rock, you play jazz, you play metal if you want. What's the secret of being so?
I just never. There was never one particular thing that I wanted to do more than others. If there was a great song, I wanted to learn the song and learn how to play it. And basically, it was anything with guitar. You know, it didn't matter if it was rock or classical or jazz. I was so enamored with the sound that I just wanted to be able to, you know, try to express myself in those ways too. So, and it still continually inspires me. There's so much great music out there, and I keep learning. You know.
When you started to study, you studied on the songs, on your favorite rock songs.
Yes. I mean, I started off when I was 5 years old, and I had 3 older brothers that played guitar, but basically I learned by ear until I was about 16. So from the age of 5 to 16, it was just listening to my records. So it was Beatles, Kiss, Ted Nugent, Rush, Foghat, 70s rock and roll, you know. That's how I got my initial education.
So that's very important to you too. So if you want to give an advice to young guitar players to play with their favorite songs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it accomplishes many things. First, it trains your ear. When you can find that chord that you're hearing from your MP3, CD, record, we called it records back in the day. You know, there's that connection of, okay, that is that sound I'm hearing. And then you start to connect things together, and then you're learning songs. And when you're playing along, you know, depending on what you're listening to, it's usually a very good band. So you're getting that feeling of, you know, because when I was learning Kiss songs, I was playing in Kiss. I was the 3rd guitar player. I'm in the band. I'm playing. So it's a wonderful education. You get your ears trained and playing along with a good rhythm section, and then finding some friends to also play with that are also learning and that you can share ideas. And there's so much, you know, even if somebody's better than you or maybe not quite as experienced as you can always learn from everybody. It's, you know, everybody has something to offer.
For me, you're so emotional when you're playing. For me, the best is even when you play a lot of notes, let's say like this, it's always so emotional. Is there a way to study or to get there in a way?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure a direct path, but it's the players that influenced me that had those elements. Guys like Steve Lukather and Pat Metheny and Larry Carlton and Robin Ford. These guys have a certain emotional element that, by absorbing as much as I could from those guys, hopefully I'm getting that through my playing as well. But I also think it depends on the individual too. Sometimes, I mean, I'm an extremely sensitive person. Too much, you know, sometimes too much. When I feel great, it's very high, and if I feel really sad, it's very low. And the music has always been there as my comfort, you know, and so much of my life.
So you realized that you wanted to be a musician when you were 5 years old.
Well, I knew that I wanted to play music. I didn't know that it was going to be my life. But by the time I was about 15 or 16, it was very obvious that that's what I was going to do the rest of my life. And that's when I sought out my first guitar teachers and started getting more serious about learning how to read music and really learning about other styles in jazz. Because I've been primarily rock and roll from when I was a little kid. But then, you know, I was hearing Barney Kessel and Joe Pass, and I knew that reading was important if I wanted to be like Steve Lukather to play in the recording studio. So I started trying to get as much information as I could, you know.
We made a fantastic interview with Steve Lukather too. Yes, you can. He's really a nice guy.
And that's what I'm talking about. The emotion that he has in his playing. He's got a huge heart, and you feel it when you're with him. He couldn't be a nicer guy, you know. And then that comes through in his playing. So that's an important part.
Do you only play your signature model, Ibanez, or when you're in studio, you're using other gear too?
Well,
What's your
That guitar that I play today, that's been my main guitar for 16 years, the AT100.
And this is always the same guitar, or I didn't see it.
This is the original one from 1994. Though I have two of the new factory models that I have set up in different ways that sound amazing. They really did a great job, really getting that guitar right. You know, we could have made it cheaper, but I didn't want to compromise. If I'm going to have a signature guitar, I want it to be exactly my guitar. Otherwise, you're being dishonest, you know. But the main thing is I own a lot of different guitars. I love Stratocasters, I love Tellys, Rickenbacker, Gretsch, Gibson, because I have those for studio work to get different sounds. But for me to play my music, I keep coming back to that guitar. It's just part of my playing now and part of my sound. You know, yeah, I'll use a Strat or a Telly on a track here and there, but like the two new records I'm working on right now, it's all the AT100. It's just I feel at home with that guitar, you know.
So, are you working on new material? When will we be out? Everybody wants to know that.
Soon. There's two records we're working on. The first one that will be completed is I've been dabbling in doing arrangements of Beatles songs for Power Trio. Like I did Resolution, which was just one guitar, bass and drums, no overdubs. So I started playing Strawberry Fields Forever in my band live. It would go over really well, get a great reaction. So I started thinking of what other Beatles songs could I do, and so now I've arranged the entire Sgt. Pepper record, start to finish for instrumental Power Trio, and that'll be done. That'll come out later this year. So.
And you will sing the songs too?
No. One guitar, bass and drums. Everything's on the guitar. Or, you know, chords, melody, orchestration, guitar licks. It's all. I wrap it up all in one performance. So it was very challenging, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I asked it to you because I know that you're a great singer too.
Well, there may be some singing on some later records. I have a lot of vocal material that I've written, but right now I'm focusing on speaking through the guitar, and we have another collection of new original songs that will be out probably next year. So a lot going on.
That's okay. I don't want to bother you anymore.
Not bothering me at all. But
that's really great, and for me it was a real great pleasure. I told you before that it was a moment of glory, but really I really enjoyed it.
I'm the fifth tile. There's now five. There's 5 tiles now.